So when will CMMC 2.0 come into effect? This is the thing that everybody's really been asking. There's been a lot of speculation, and heck, I'm pretty sure there's a book out in Las Vegas that is trying to guess when this is going to happen too. So you will see, because it hasn't been set in stone by the DoD, when it's going to be happening. What rulemaking is they've taken the CMMC requirements that you just saw, and they are deciding when and how that's going to be implemented into the supply chain. So there'll be additional instructions on when and how. It's not going to be what. What is CMMC? It is 800-171. So the guidance we got this time last year was that DoD is going to be going through rulemaking. Companies will be required to be compliant once that comes into effect. As I mentioned, Shirney, Tyler, and I were all up in DC last week at the ecosystem, and the general consensus is that rulemaking will be finished in some point in Q2 with the estimated target of May 2023. Why is that important? Because once the rulemaking is finished and the companies are required to comply, you will have 60 days until the requirements will be written into the contracts and required. What we see happening, and again, this is speculation based on good information, but speculation, it should be used to give you a rough guide that you are going to need to have your compliance in order by the start of fiscal year 24, which is October 1st, 2023. That's federal fiscal year. So the timeline we're telling people is to, right at this point, anticipate that rulemaking is going to be complete. Through July, you're going to be seeing contracts written that will be effective on October 1st, and that you need to be addressing your plans of action. Remember, the plan of action milestones is your plan to address gaps that have been identified in the pre-assessment process, and actually after the assessment if the C3PAO identifies gaps. So there we go. I'd like to show this. This is like a blast from the past. This time we've just traveled back to November of 2021, where I was pointing to the start of fiscal year 24 based on the information we had at that time. And I'd like to emphasize that because rulemaking for Part 32 of the CFR, as well as DFARS Part 48, are all going to be done sometime in Q2 of 23. And that means that this is going to get serious and real on October 1st of 2023 or fiscal year 24. That was the original timeline document, by the way, that I used to talk about how they're doing the crawl, walk, run approach, and they're not doing the crawl, walk, run approach with version 2. So a lot of people thought that that would make things easier. Actually, I think the crawl, walk, run would have been better, but it's essentially going to be a light switch now. So we are waiting for rulemaking to finish in summary. And in summary, we're waiting for rulemaking to finish. And when it does, it's going to be required. That's not a lot of time. We talked about 300,000 entities. They're going to be rushing to do this. If you have been procrastinating at all, now's the time to stop procrastinating and get to work and engage and start your implementation for CMMC if you haven't already.